Hello, and welcome to Pique My Interest, the show dedicated to creativity. My name is Xamantha Decker, and I am an artist, and your host. Pique My Interest is an exploration of art across North America in meeting some incredible artists, learning about their craft, and exploring what makes them create. Welcome to Pique My Interest. Hello, and welcome to Pique My Interest. I am currently in Boston, Massachusetts, sitting in this incredible studio with this awesome artist. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing fantastic. How's your day been?
It's been good. I was actually at the Four Seasons this morning doing a pop-up nail event.
Ooh.
Yes, it's bright and early at 7 a.m.
Oh, 7 a.m. Yeah, that's really early for
Very
artists.
early, yes.
And please, tell us a little bit about you. What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Sam. I grew up in LA and Indonesia and then came to Boston for school.
And please, pique our interest. What is your craft?
So I'm a nail artist. I focus on a lot of 3D arts. I like sculptures. I like going upwards with my arts. I also have a studio that we recently opened where we teach press-ons classes, and we have different DIY events with other guest artists and stuff.
A nail artist.
Yes.
I'm so excited to dive into your creativity. What is your specialty within nail art?
I definitely like texture. I like to add something that comes out of the nail and off the nail. I've never been too big on like hand painted character work and stuff like that. I think it's amazing, but I just haven't really tapped into that just yet. So for me, I prefer 3D art and anything that has to do with like sculpting clay and whatever spins or something.
Yeah, what I appreciate about your work going through it, you do have a lot of that 3D effect. Things that are popping off, almost sculpture on top of the nails. But what I also appreciate is your realism. You can put on things and we immediately know, oh my gosh, that's an orange slice, or oh, that's a ladybug. But then you also dabble into the abstract world a little bit and allowing the viewer or your clients to kind of just give you a vibe or a feel, and allows you to just kind of go forth with your creativity. And so I'm very excited to get into that a little bit.
Exactly.
But I want to know, what's your background? Do you have any education in nail art?
Yes. Well, not in nail art. I guess my entire background. I got my undergrad degree at Boston University, graduated in 2022? I don't even know. 2022?
Pandemic times.
Yes.
Who knows?
2022, graduated my undergrad, and then I got a master's right after that in public health. Graduated in 2024? Yes. And then during my master's program, I did a nail tech certification or licensing one of the summers. And I have always wanted to do nails before that. I never had the push to actually do it. And then one day I was eating dim sum with my boyfriend and my best friend, and I was telling them about how Instagram and all these people's nail arts are popping off, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I should just go and get it. I was getting a little bit bored in grad school too, just needed something more creative, so decided to do that. They don't teach you nail art in school though, it's just sanitation, manicure, like the SOP and stuff like that. So everything else was mostly just trial and error, YouTube. A lot of YouTube.
So quite a bit of education in health sciences. What about the health science drew you to that? And then in turn, what made you go from health sciences into the arts?
I think that living in Indonesia really pushed me to want to do something in the public health realm. I was actually super interested in learning about like using Schedule I drugs for therapy and for furthering the research on that, looking at the classifications and the rescheduling. I learned about like healthcare insurance and the gaps there, and just I really liked the idea of public health in its sense that its goal was to find the simplest way to impact the most people. Whereas like a doctor, it's like a one-to-one, you treat one person. But in public health, we really focus on how many people can we impact with this one goal, with this one intervention. So I really like that aspect of it. Art-wise, since I was a kid, I've always liked art. I sew as a kid. I sewed a lot as a kid. I actually had a little swimwear and sportswear line in Indonesia when I was younger. That was really fun. I would always paint random things. I just like using my hands. I feel like I'm a very visual learner, so I like to see a lot of things. And after I graduated, because the nail part of life was doing well, I was like, well, there must be an intersection between doing all that and doing art as well. And I wanted to figure out what that was in my life.
Yeah, and you've had a lot of art practice in your upbringing. You said you're surrounded by a lot of art. Was there a lot of nail building in your younger age that was kind of the catalyst, or that little seed that was there that planted that just kept growing and growing?
Yes, I think it was my senior year of high school. I got my nails done for prom, and I had extensions on for the very first time, and I remember seeing her do it, and I was like, that seems doable. I was like, I feel like I could do that. And I thought it was so cool. Obviously, when I first tried it, it was terrible. I actually had my local mall lady in Jakarta come to my house, and she would teach my friend and I just like random nail stuff. And then when I came to college, I brought like a little kit with me, and I was like, I'm going to do everyone's nails in the dorms. Did like a couple, and then kind of fell off just because you need a lot of shit for nails, and it never stops growing, the supplies that you need. And I guess at that point I kind of lost interest in it. I feel like I wasn't growing as much in it, and it was very mediocre. It was fun, but that's when I transitioned back to sewing, and then I started spending most of my free time sewing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then we tried the sewing, and then we tried the health science.
Yes.
And now we're back doing nails.
Yes.
We are in your studio.
We are. Crazy.
With your business partner. Shout out to May. Tiny Chaos. To me, that says success. You have your own studio from your little brain. What is success in nail art, and do you feel successful?
That's a very good question, and I think the answer to that changes very often. I think that obviously 1 year ago me wouldn't have never imagined being here, and just the idea of being able to fully support ourselves on an art craft and be able to rent a studio and pay for all that, have people come in, is the most incredible thing. I think success for me constantly changes. And once I've hit a goal, it just goes up again. And sometimes that's kind of a battle with myself, because then it's, okay, well, are we giving ourselves time to celebrate? Are we giving ourselves time to say that we've succeeded and be happy? So to me, I think that success is just never ending. It's just there's not really like I am successful now.
Yeah.
I am successfully paying for my life through art, which I think is a big win. Because I know that's pretty big. It's still terrifying. It's still scary. Am I bawling out? No, not yet. But I think, like, unfortunately, money is a big part of things. But as long as I'm coming in and I'm happy, and I'm putting all the effort that I feel like I have to put out and to give to people, I think that's pretty good for myself.
Yeah. And another thing that I admire is not only are you putting every ounce of effort into your own creativity, you also teach as well. So you're taking everything that you've learned over the years, and you have classes here in the Tiny Chaos studio.
Yes.
I find that absolutely fascinating to be able to take what you've learned and just share that with the world. I think that's fantastic. Let's talk about your creation process. How do you decide what to make, and where do you start with your painting?
Normally, so if I'm doing something for a client, I do what's called concept boards. So I have them send me photos from Pinterest or from anything, whether it's pictures of the destination that they're traveling to, whether it's their vibe. Sometimes I'll ask about their outfits, if they're adventurous, if they're more like, I only wear black, if they're more goth or more fun. And then I tend to curate a design based on that. I always start with colors first, so I pick out what colors I want. I'm very maximalist nail tech, so two hands will never really look the same unless I'm forced to, which is okay too. Sometimes it's fun. I really like to play with different textures. I love chrome, so I always find a way to add chrome into there. if someone's giving me a concept board with imagery, like clear imagery, like someone recently did a cult themed set, and she was doing it for her birthday. So we did like a candle, we did like it looks like a tattooed nail that said like Julism. Her name is Julie, so it was like her cult name.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So I try and pull from images, and then once we've laid the base, we add a layer of art, and it's just layers and layers and layers and layers. Eventually you get to the very end, and even beyond top coat, I try to layer some more things, whether it's 3D bubbles or 3D textures, whatever I can to just add more maximalism and make it more me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then while you're working with a client, they have a very specific thing that they want. Again, what you do, you're able to do landscapes to, I saw Van Gogh paintings.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Each nail was a completely different Van Gogh painting that you could identify. That you could go through a museum and be like, this is this one and that one's that one.
That's cool. Same cult girl, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had some cool ideas.
While you're working with clients, do you find that your creativity is limited a little bit? Or do you find that almost restriction is kind of giving you an outlet to kind of think outside the box? How can my creativity work with this?
I think I'm really lucky that over the 2 years, I've curated a clientele that is really creative and comes with a lot of fun ideas. Sometimes the hardest sets are when they say, do whatever you want. Because sometimes, yeah, you're feeling inspired, but I think it's not reasonable to say that an artist is inspired 100% of the time. So sometimes having that direction that they're giving me is forcing me to, yes, try out a different skill that matches what they want, but also bring in my own flair that's going to come out eventually. So honestly, I look at it as a little adventure every single time. I think I'm getting more confident in my skills, where I used to have to plan like 2 days in advance before a client would come in. But I think nowadays I'm getting a little bit more confident, whereas I can just spend maybe like 20 minutes sketching something out. And then I'll kind of see if it matches what they want. And most people are down for whatever. I think that trust where they just say, do whatever you want makes me happy. When you get a client who's very particular and wants to dictate every single line, that's when it gets a little bit challenging, as any artist would be, because then you're just a robot. You're not really an artist.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, before we met, I did reach out to you about making me a personal set.
Yes.
And I did kind of give you a little bit of artistic freedom with the guidelines of the Pique My Interest logo. So I'm very excited to see what that looks like and share that with the world.
Exciting.
And while you're going and working with the clients, do you still allow yourself to create on your own, or do you normally do clientele-based work now?
It's funny because I actually realized not too long ago that I haven't made something that I've purely wanted to make for myself in a while. I designed sets for classes, I designed sets for people, but my last project where it truly was just what I wanted to make was like a long time ago. I want to say like almost a year ago, maybe.
Oh, wow.
A couple months ago. Yeah, and I didn't realize it until recently. I made this really cool set for my boyfriend, actually. We did like a set with a bunch of different masks sculpted onto it. Maybe that wasn't a year ago. I'm really bad at timing, so it might have been like 6 months ago. Who knows? There's one that I made for a DJ that I really like. That's over there, actually. But these are my two very favorite sets.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was for a DJ. His name is Sudden Death. He actually reposted it, and I remember when he reposted it, I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, he knows I exist. I actually just saw him in Montreal.
Oh, really?
That's why we were there, yeah.
These are absolutely stunning. And again, the materials that you use, the different textures to give off different story. I mean, this is a story within nails.
And then this one was for a DJ. Her name is Rez. So I did it based off her song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is always a story. Honestly, sometimes a story comes after the design or like halfway through it. Sometimes you just want to design.
What gets your creative juices flowing? What inspires you?
I really love going to music festivals. I feel like whenever I come back from a music festival, I'm inspired in some way. Whether it's from just the outfits that I see there, the vibes that people are giving, the artists that I see, the way that I feel when I listen to the music, and just being in that space of vacation also. I think traveling helps a lot with inspiration, and then of course any like extreme emotion. So if I'm feeling a certain way on either end of the scale, whether it's super happy or super, I don't know, maybe something's really rough right now, I feel like those typically give good inspirations. The set that I did with the masks, that one was a lot from my boyfriend, talking about like masking and the way that is with the world, and I really liked that. But yeah, I would say music a lot, music festivals and traveling.
Okay. All right. Have you ever made any nails like based on a piece of music, like a very specific either artist or song?
Yes, those two. So Sudden Death is one of my favorite DJs. He wears this like bloody, like not bloody, he wears this like deer skull thing during his performances. I love his vibe, and then the rest of the nails on that design is based off some of his outfits and some of like the chains that he wears. Yeah. And then Rez, the other one, her song was Spider on the Moon. And so it's like she has like an eyeball as her logo, so it's kind of like her bloody. And I think Sudden Death and Rez are some of my top few DJs. Their music is a lot more unique than stuff I've listened to in the past, and when I heard it, I don't know, I just really liked it. So I really wanted to create.
Yeah, I think the creativity blossoms from your brain with being able to see things that inspire you, but to be able to recreate it with your own signature touch. And
Yes,
again, as I
exactly.
said, a lot of your work is very various. If that makes any sense. It's very different.
Yeah.
You can see the landscapes, you can see the portraitures, you can see the creatures, but you can
Yes.
always tell that they're dim sum nails. You can always
That's really
tell
cool. I'm glad.
that it's Sam's nails, and they're
I always wonder if people think that there's like a style, because I feel like I'm still trying to figure that out.
absolutely, as artists, we're always trying to find our signature
Yeah.
touch. If that being said, what would your advice be for somebody trying to find their signature touch? Or are you still
Good
trying
question.
to find it?
I think it's a lot of just trying out anything and everything. I think at first I was very against doing certain things. For example, French tips. I was really against doing French tips because I was so convinced that that was just not me. But I was forced to do it a couple times for some clients, and I started to realize that there's definitely a way to incorporate those kinds of techniques into more complex designs that are very me. And once you gain that skill in your toolbox, you're able to expand and figure more out about what you want. At first, it is a lot of like looking at someone's design and seeing if I can replicate it. And then after that, it's progressing into, okay, now how can I add my touch? And then blah, 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 blah. So I think just not being closed off to any ideas. Like I said, I don't really do much character painting, but it's not that I don't want to. I just haven't reached that toolbox yet. But I will eventually, and then I can start adding that and mix it in with the 3D work, and it'll be crazy.
Yeah, so definitely looking at other artists and other styles and seeing how that can influence your work. I love
Exactly, yeah.
that. And while we're still on the topic of advice, would you recommend going to school to build on nail art?
I would if there's a space for it. I think that finding nail art classes is very, very uncommon, hence we opened Tiny Chaos. Going to school if you wanted to be a nail tech, yes, just because they teach you sanitation and whatnot, but in terms of art, it would have been a lot faster if someone was sitting there telling me what to do and what not to do. I think if you do go to a class, you utilize that class to learn the techniques, but you don't utilize the class to copy the art. So you're there, you learn the design, but then you take those techniques and translate it into what you want to create. Yeah. But I think if someone is just copying the exact same thing, then it's like, that's a whole other skill, being able to copy paste, but then it's like, where are you going to go with it if your set looks like everyone else's set?
Right. Absolutely. And while you're working and you might see that something looks exactly like somebody else's, or it's not looking the way you want it to go, how much does nail art adapt and change while you're working? Do you have an idea in your head, this is how it has to be, and your goal is to do that? Or, oops, this kind of did this. Oh, but that's neat.
This is like 80% of the time that happens. My sketches compared to what actually comes out, whether it's the time constraint, whether it's the material not working well. Summer and winter, your materials act differently.
Really?
When it's hotter out, a lot of the stuff is a lot more liquidy, which can make it a lot more sticky too. Wintertime, everything's a bit colder, everything moves a bit slower, so they're all temperamental. But that's why I love nail art, because if you hate something, you can just add a gem and cover it up. I guess that's kind of my secret. is when I hate something, or honestly, I don't hate it, but when something just isn't the way that I envisioned it to be, maybe I'll sculpt something on top of it, or I'll draw a line, add something else. But when you're just doing a solid set, you can't mess up because there's nowhere to hide those details. But yeah, a lot of things come from making mistakes and having to adapt, and I learned that especially a lot with the classes because I'm doing live demos, and I'm standing there next to the person and I have to figure out a solution right now. So it's like, okay, why is it looking like that? How can we figure out how to fix it? And hopefully it works.
I think Sam's advice for young aspiring nail artists to go to school is take Sam's class.
Yes. Take our classes. I feel like I hopefully do a good job in helping to explain things. I like to take a lot of notes about when I'm trying to learn something new. I try to remember the issues that I came across so that when I'm teaching somebody else it, I can remember those. And we're all creatures of patterns, so people typically make the same mistakes. Yeah.
And as a teacher and creator, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to always be on, always be the artist that everybody wants us to be. But we are human. How do you overcome a creative block, or you just don't feel it that day? How do you get into the studio?
Whenever I'm trying to create and I feel like I can't, then I'll try and find something else to do with my hands. So whether that's busy work, now I have a studio, so now I can do busy work, packing application kits or bags. Sometimes May and I will have what we call studio time, where we're here together and it's just time for us to create new class designs. The last studio time I sat down and I did not want to make a single thing. It was not working out. I was getting so frustrated. I was like, okay, let me just do something else. We put on a movie. Sometimes I'll go outside, do something that's un-nail related, because normally when I have a creative block, it kind of ties hand in hand with some feeling of burnout or some feeling of just being tired and not wanting to create. When I have a client, I'm forced to do it anyways, so that kind of has taught me a different thing as well. Yeah. But when I have free reign, then I will try and do something not nail related.
I love how you are able to step away and do something else with your hands. What hobbies do you have? And do they complement or contradict your craft?
It's so funny because the other day I realized this is the first time in my life where I actually don't have another hobby right now, which is crazy because all my life I've done something and then like an art hobby. But right now, that side hobby became the main venture, and that expanded into even more. And so now I'm like, well, every free time that I get is back into the studio. What hobbies do I have? I like eating. Eating can be a hobby.
Eating is one of my favorite things to do across North America.
Love traveling.
You are a sewer.
Yes,
You've showed me a lot of your corsets that you made. Do you think that influences your work at all? Do you think they tie into each other at all? Or is it just the escape?
For sure. I think that sewing, the cool thing about nails is that because they're so small scale, you can kind of get that dopamine hit pretty quickly because you can finish a set a lot faster than I can sew a corset. So with sewing, I loved it because it really showed the hours and the structure and the precision that you had to do with measuring and the placements of everything. But with nails, it's a lot more fluid, like we were just talking about. It can kind of move around. If something's not working out, you can just kind of pivot. But with sewing and patterns, it's a lot of math. It's like all geometry, so it's not that easy sometimes. So I think that having sewn a lot, it has allowed me to really appreciate nail art more. And I don't think I had that realization until now, actually. I'm like, oh, maybe that is why I prefer doing nails. I mean, I don't think I prefer it, but I wanted to start sewing again because that is something else that I've just loved to do. But it's just a lot to set up. A lot of space, a lot of scrap fabric.
It is a lot of space. And it's, as you said, it's a lot of materials and a lot of learning what works, learning what you like. Are your materials accessible for anybody to grab, or do you use high-end materials?
It's a mix. So for my clients and whatnot, I use Japanese Korean gels, brands in the US that I love. Function of X is a local brand that I adore. It's like started by a couple and they're amazing. For classes, we use a mix as well. So stuff that you can buy online, that anyone can buy, stuff that maybe you have to get shipped. But I try to mix it. I make sure that everything I'm putting out is stuff that I would use on myself and that I would use on clients. Whenever someone is interested in buying something, I'll try and point them in the direction of where you can get it. It's not hard to get. It's just a lot of stuff to get. Just
always taking up space.
Yeah.
For the tiniest craft, there's cupboards and shelves
everything
and
is
closets.
tiny. So it's like the organization of nail art supplies. Like my drawers are bad right now. Yeah.
And this is probably the tiniest craft that Pique My Interest has ever featured.
That's cool.
And with that, I'm curious, are there any misconceptions with your craft?
Yes. The biggest one is that you have to have long nails to get cool nail art. And I think that's the biggest misconception because I do a lot of short natural nails. Like nails, like I don't have nails on one hand, but nails that are like half the nail bed length of mine. I've done sculpted nails on them, 3D art on tiny nails. I think it's fun. It's like a whole other adventure in itself. A lot of people don't even think about wanting to get their nails done because they're like, oh, I don't want extensions. I can't do that with my life, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. That totally makes sense. Therefore, I'm really trying to push this idea of getting short, natural nails and a lot of art on that. Mm-hmm. And it becomes like a little pop to your outfit. The other misconception is that your nails have to match you. It does not have to match you. It's an accessory. You can swap it out every month or so if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. Be adventurous. It's such a small part of you. So really have fun with it.
It's a small part, but it can be so big.
But it does so much. It boosts confidence. It just makes you feel so put together. Mm-hmm. It can hold so much art. It's just a conversation starter when you go in public. Yeah.
And you do press-ons as well, painting on real nails, mm-hmm. humans. What do you prefer?
I think it depends on the complexity. When it's in person, it can only be so complex because unless you're there for like 8 hours. But at that point, I also might shed a tear. I did have an 8-hour appointment once, though, and that was crazy. When it's in person, it comes with being able to do things efficiently and being able to figure out how you can pivot right then and there. So it attracts a whole other level of skills. It also tests how fast you can do things and how much you've mastered it. That's the thing about nail art is you can't just learn the skill. You have to learn how to do it fast, and then you have to learn how to do it on person. Press-ons, I've done stuff like this. These ones take a few days. I've done crazier ones for clients who maybe have like a higher budget. I did like a spinning carousel where it actually spun. That one was fun.
I love it. Okay.
And each little seating thing was sculpted as well. I got it from inspiration from another artist. It was crazy. I recently did a wedding cake for someone's wedding. It was like a 2-tiered cake.
I did. I saw that video. Oh my gosh.
That one was crazy as well. So
did
those
they have
kinds
that
of
for
things.
Their wedding?
Yeah. We did give her a press-on to swap it out. She said she wanted to wear it for the reception, but I don't think the ring would have fit over it because it was on her.
It was on the ring finger? The one finger that needs to have something go over it?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's swap that out. But that was, so stuff like that where it requires a couple of days, I would rather do press-ons. Mm-hmm. But in general, I feel like in-person sets can be a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. Press-ons, for some reason, I'm just slower. Yeah.
And one of the last few things I have to bring up is tiny chaos.
Yes.
I walked in expecting to see the chaos, but this is an extremely organized studio.
Oh, I'm glad.
Usually when I think of nail art, you just, like I said, the cupboards and the buckets full of just nail gels and pens and paints and whatever, but this is very organized. But when I was reading about your creativity, you had talked about chaos is a necessary part of creating. Can you explain that and why this place is called Tiny Chaos?
Yes, I love this question. So we really stemmed from this idea that chaos in life can be good. It can be a way to motivate us, to push us to do things. It's not chaos in a sense of all hell breaks loose and everything is a mess, but it's more of a sense of like a little tiny bit of chaos, just a little bit of chaos in life to challenge you, to make you do something uncomfortable. We also really wanted to reintroduce the idea of art into a lot of young adults and adults' lives. When we were kids, we all painted, we all had crayons, we all had Legos, but at some point in life, it kind of just stopped. A lot of people were just discouraged from continuing it because it wasn't a real career, blah, 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 all that. But I think there must be a reason why kids are so drawn to art and why kids are drawn to being messy and coloring outside the lines and adding so much color and things like that. And so we want to reintroduce that idea. And for us, so for me at least, art really is a form of therapy. Just being able to express yourself in a way that isn't words and being able to share that with somebody else and see how that grows is really, really cool. So for Tiny Chaos, we encourage chaos. We encourage people to come, draw outside the lines, mess it up, figure out how to fix it. We always say, if you're getting stressed out, let us know. Like, well, we don't want you to be stressed out. If you need help with half your set, that's okay too. It's really just trying to get people to let it go a little bit, to not be too perfect and always feel like they have to be a perfectionist. And we get a lot of students who are perfectionists, and it does get stressful because you want it to look exactly the same as the sample. But I think it's important to remember that it's always a process. You're always growing. You can always come back and practice it again and try it again. And that's life too. Just living life fun like a child.
Yeah, I will agree that there is something in our adolescence where we want to be a creator when we grow up. And there's something that just tells us that no.
Exactly.
Like, we have to go into the quote unquote real world.
Exactly.
And so I just want to say thank you for pursuing your creativity and pushing your innovativeness and showing us your nail art through Tiny Chaos, as well as dim sum nails.
Yes.
What is dim sum nails?
Dim sum nails is what I started with. So it's called dim sum nails because I think I mentioned this just now, I was at a dim sum restaurant with my boyfriend and my best friend when I finally decided to just fuck it and get the nail tech license so I could start practicing on people. I also love dim sum. I'm always at dim sum. And so dim sum nails for me is kind of my portfolio of growth personally, just to show my art and show what I'm interested in, trying to grow that. And I think having dim sum nails helped bloom Tiny Chaos because it allowed me to start somewhere rather than starting as a complete ghost. Right. I feel like that would have been a lot scarier. And I'm lucky enough to have had dim sum nails to do that. So
one just led to the other one, and now
now somehow we ended up with the studio. Yeah,
I love it.
Crazy.
Embrace the chaos.
Yes.
And moving outside the craft a little bit, what's next for the world of Xamantha, and what's next for the world of Tiny Chaos?
Definitely just trying to tell everybody that we exist. I know we have a really great studio. We have a really great product. There's nothing like us in Boston, not even New York or any of the neighboring areas. I think that our studio is really unique for Boston as well. The way we decorate it, the vibe that we curate for it, it's all thought out, and I just really want everyone to see it and to know that they have a place here. Maybe expansion in the future would be really cool. That might be a little definer of success.
Major chaos.
A lot more chaos. And for me, I think something that I would love to really figure out is the balance between working and living.
Life and work.
Yep. And I think it gets a lot harder to do once you start owning your business. Everyone thinks that it's better because you set your own schedule, but in fact, I wouldn't say it's worse, but in fact, it's still a lot. It's amazing. The work that you do is very fulfilling, but it does take time to figure out that what you're doing is good for your mental health and giving yourself time to rest and to have fun without feeling guilty that you're not at the studio.
Well, again, thank you for pushing through that and finding your mental health, your physical health through this, and telling
always
us,
evolving. It's not 100%.
Always evolving.
Always evolving.
But through this, you were able to tell us your story, and I think that artists are storytellers. Pique My Interest has told me that artists are storytellers, and your work is the epitome of your story. So, again, thank you for pushing through that, evolving with this chaos. It is beautiful. It's fun. Where can we see your work?
Yes. Most of my work is on my Instagram page at Dim Sum Nails. And then work that we do for the studio is also on Instagram, tinychaos.studios. But yeah, I post everything mostly on social media.
Excellent. We did talk a little bit before this about social media and art. Is there anything you want to touch on that before we wrap up?
Social media is both the best tool for a small business and also the worst thing for your mental health.
So detrimental.
It's very time consuming. You have to do so much. And there are those anomalies where people post one video and it goes viral and it's boom, you have 100,000 followers. But for 99.9% of everyone else, it's not like that. And so I think trying to remember that it's all your own process and your own road of progression. Honestly, it's such a gamble. I think I know why something does well, and then you do it again and it doesn't. So it's like, okay, now we're playing this game again. It's always a game, but I think
You're always trying to find the formula.
You are always trying to find the formula, but as long as there's people coming through, I'm able to use it as a portfolio to look back on in the future. Everything else will eventually come with it.
But like you said, it's a portfolio. It's an amazing opportunity to showcase your work, share your work. Please, to all my peakers out there, go to Xamantha's social media, website,
Yay.
Tiny Chaos website. All of her work is up there. It is stunning. It will blow you away.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for joining me and piquing my interest. Is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
No, I had a great time. This was very fun.
Absolutely. But I do like to end with one last question.
Okay.
If you could excel at any other craft other than nail art, what would you want to do?
That's such a good question. Oh.
As you stroke your face with these beautiful nails.
No, my one hand. I think that silversmiths are really cool.
Ooh.
I would love to do like silver jewelry where they like, there's this one person on Instagram, she'll melt like soju bottles, like glass bottles, and create art out of it. And I just love the way that she pinches and pulls, and I think that jewelry making would be really, really cool, like melting shit.
I think we've already started to see a little bit of jewelry art within your nails.
Yeah, I guess it is a form of that. I think silversmithing would be really cool. Or like carpentry. I would love to be able to build my furniture. Ooh. Though I think over time I would get very annoyed. I can't cut straight or do stuff.
Yeah, carpentry, you do need to be a little more precise.
Yeah, I'm not a
precise. Outside the box and
Same
more,
as sewing, which is why a lot of my sewing stuff is just kind of whatever.
Well, we're just excited that you have your nail art and you can just go outside the box and go crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all my peakers out there. Please let me know if you know of any special or unique artists or art forms you think I should explore. I am currently in Boston, Massachusetts, and can't wait to see where Pique My Interest takes me next. Remember, creativity comes from the heart. Push yourselves. Be kind to each other. I'm Scoob Decker, and thank you for helping me pique my interest. This episode was produced by Lizzie Webb. Be sure to follow on social media to stay updated on all the adventures into art and creativity, as well as all of the past Pique My Interest featured artists. If you like, please leave a review. Send us a message. Tell us what you think. Pique My Interest is for you, the peakers. Cheers to creativity, and I hope your interest is piqued.